My name is Rachel, and I'm from Hokmah Torah Center and Tutoring Services, where we teach biblical Hebrew. So I am just here to help us to prepare for Pesach. Now, this is the second presentation in a three-part series. The first presentation was made last week, April 7. I will link that in the comments so that you're able to go back and watch that first presentation in our preparation for Pesach. Now, what is Pesach? Pesach is Passover, and it is one of the feasts of the Lord, one of the feasts of HaShem. Pesach is comprised of 3 Hebrew letters. Yes, Pesach is a Hebrew word and it means Passover. Pesach, as I just said, made up of 3 Hebrew letters. We looked at the Pe, which is the first letter of Pesach, last presentation. Today we're going to do the second letter, and the second letter is a SAMECH. This is it. This is what it looks like. SAMECH. And what is it? What is it? Now, as I said, we are preparing for this, and each of the letters of the Hebrew alphabet has a special meaning, and this one speaks to support. If you look at it, let me get it again, you will see that it is circular. It's kind of circular in shape, and it would mean that if you think about a circle and the support that it gives at all points of a circle, as a matter of fact, a circle has an indefinite number of points, of support points. So no matter where you go on a circle, on the surface of the circle or the end of the circle, you will have some support. And that is the idea. And thinking about Pesach, the word Pesach, which is made up of 3 letters, Pe, Samech, and Chet. Yes, and this Samech being in the middle, and it means support. And what could be even greater than support, knowing that our God, HaShem, the one who swore by himself always to be in covenant with us wherever we go, just as how he went down into Egypt, into Mitzrayim with Israel. Just like how he was there throughout the bondage, throughout the mistreatment, throughout the limitation, throughout all that they faced. And when they cried out, they said, this is we can't take this anymore. We can't take this anymore. And after that judgment, do you remember that judgment? You can read about it in the book of Exodus. It mentions from Moshe was called in chapter 3 to chapter 12. You will read about all the plagues, and before the final plague, the death of the firstborn, there were some instructions outlined. HaShem, that is God, gave Moshe some instructions to say, this is what you shall tell the people, and they prepared and all of that. And knowing that the God who always supports us wherever we are, whatever our circumstance, he's always there with us. And when we cry out, just as how the children of Israel cried out, he came and he delivered them with a mighty hand. And when they left, it was a mixed multitude that left the place of limitation. Yes, Mitzrayim, Egypt, is translated as a place of limitation, a place of bondage, a place where you can't go to the right too far. You can't go to the left. But throughout it all, there is a support in the middle that's always with us, that is always with us. And that support is in the form of our God, who will always be with us, no matter what. And this feast, Pesach, celebrates the fact that God, Yod-He with Vav-He, the covenant-keeping God, the one that swore by himself, the one who wrote himself within our DNA, the one who is always present, ever faithful, always with us, will always be our support. So this Pesach, remember that God is always your support. And if you think of what a support is, think about a prop. Think about, there's another letter in the Hebrew alphabet called a Vav. And it's a tent peg. It's a tent peg. And it makes sure that whatever is being secured is well connected to the earth, is well connected and reaching up and making sure that there's no storm, there's nothing that can come and uproot you because it's well secure. Now, this is the idea of the support. And this support is not even from a single peg. It's from all parts, every part of the SAMECH, every part of the circle, every part of the circular shape that will come, that is always everywhere on that space is our God of support. Is our God of support. And it is just awesome to know that he is the God of support. And another thing, we are in the Hebrew month of Nisan, and Nisan comes from the root word nes, which means miracle. So it's a month of miracles as well. And in Nisan there is a SAMECH. There is also a SAMECH. So understand that when we celebrate this 7-day feast, yes, Pesach is observed over 7 days. 7 days. Not my rules. Those are the rules that HaShem said, and that is what we follow. It is in the Torah, it is in the Bible, you can read about it. It is in Exodus 12, it is in Leviticus 23, 2 of the places that it is found, these ordinances, these that we should follow. Why? Because they are Moedim, and a Moed is an appointed meeting time. An appointed meeting time. This is a time, one of the many times that God said, come out and meet specifically with me because I want to meet with you at this time. And one of those times is throughout this feast, the feast of Pesach, where he is always our support. He is always our support. And just as how he supported the children of Israel as they journeyed through the wilderness. Yes. Another time I shall talk about the Midvar, the wilderness. Right now I'm looking at the feast, which resulted in that exodus, that going into that wilderness, the Pesach, and that support that is had in this miraculous month, this month of miracles, this month of deliverance, right? Another thing about the SAMECH and Pesach and it being our support is that there is, during the feast, there is a seder, there's a seder that is done, a Passover seder or Passover seder. And it's, seder means order, like a procedure, how to do things. And basically it is how to eat the meal of Pesach, where we remember the Exodus, we remember the deliverance, we remember that God, that HaShem is always our support in everything. He's always our protection. He's always be our protector. And this is what we celebrate when we celebrate Pesach, when we celebrate the God who is always with us, the God who is the God who swore by himself. I know I said it already, but I must say it again because it's so incredibly awesome. That God, that HaShem, that Yod-He with Vav-He is our SAMECH, is our support, and will always be our support. Shalom, Jojo. Blessings to you. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Will always be our support. Now, I mentioned the SAMECH. I mentioned that SAMECH is also in this month, Nisan, the month of miracles, that being, and this, the Seder, the Passover Seder, the meal, the order of the meal. Yes, there is the meal and there's camaraderie as we remember what happened, and as we continue and as we remember who is our support and who will always be our support. Just as how the circle has many indefinite points of support, our unlimited supernal God, the supernal God, the God that is the God who always will be with us, will always be our support. He is your support, and that is one of the reasons we celebrate this feast, this Pesach, because he's our deliverer. He's our support. He's our moving. He's our shaking. He's our guide. He's our guide. And we must remember, and we must pass this on to the future generation, because they must know that a mixed multitude left the place of bondage. They must know that at the Mount Sinai, that after that, when the Torah was given, that there was a representative there. There was a representative there, and they must know that a continuation of that support way later in the form of Yeshua. Yeshua was sent by this Yod-He Vav-He as our continued support, as the walking, living, manifested Torah that we see, that we read about. Isn't that awesome, this SAMECH? And did I mention that SAMECH, Pesach has 3 letters, Pe, SAMECH, and Het. And SAMECH is smack in the middle, right in the middle. Wherever you go, wherever you go, he is right there in the midst, supporting you. Whatever decisions you have to make, he's your support. Whatever thing you have to do, wherever you have to go, he's always your support. Just as how he's your guide, he's your support.